Alright guys, what is up? Welcome back to another video here in the RS7, the second video we're making in this car. We're going to start it today in POV format because we got to do our first launch control here on video. Initially when I bought this car, I didn't even know if it had launch control, but I figured out that it did. And what you need to do to get it into a launch mode is you got to have it in dynamic, as we do, and then you got to turn traction control completely off. Hold the button down till you see ESC off, and then yeah, got to put it in sport mode as well. You just pull the lever down. If you pull it back, it's in drive. Now it's in sport mode, and then we got a slight incline here, so we're gonna see what time we get. Audi says it's 3.8 seconds. Now I've heard that they understate their numbers here, so we're gonna find out. Here we go. Foot on the brake pedal.
30, 60.
Dang man, it's quick. Look at that. You guys see that? 3.47 seconds. Fully stock. Dang, dude, this thing is fast.
Quarter mile.
Now, since we bought the car, it's been absolutely crappy weather, so that's why it's taken like 3 days for me to upload another video on this car. It's been non-stop rain the whole time, and I was trying to do this launch control thing for the first time yesterday while it was currently at the moment not raining, but it was wet outside, and this thing, as you guys could tell, it rips. If it's not completely dry out, it does an all-wheel drive burnout. So yeah, I'm extremely impressed. Obviously the Quattro, you know, the all-wheel drive, it'll grip right off the bat. We're gonna try it here one more time in the opposite direction. See if we can better our 3.47.
30, 60.
3.37. 3.37. So yeah, I just think it's so cool that Audi understates their numbers like that, saying that it's supposed to do it in 3.8, because most of the time manufacturers will do the opposite, and then you're like fighting to get to like whatever the number is they say. Like when I had the W205 C63s, it was supposed to do 0 to 60 in 3.8 seconds. I never got to 3.8. Now granted, that's a rear wheel drive, so you're fighting traction all the time. It's just extremely hard to get that car, at least stock, to 60 in under 4 seconds, because again, you're fighting traction. Here in this case here is completely opposite. They also say that it's 560 horsepower in this car. It feels like it's more, for sure. I don't know exactly what the number would be. Like it's more than 560 horsepower. So far, I mean, I'm just head over heels with it. I think this car is amazing. Wifey drove it the other day as well, Sunday. She loves the car as well. I think this is her favorite car out of the ones that I've had on the channel so far. Oh, and the thing is, with this car being stock still, it's very quiet, which she obviously loves. I don't. But it's also extremely smooth. Like the launch controls, yeah, they're I mean, it's fast and you feel it, but it's not violent at all. And I don't think it's supposed to be like violent either, because this is technically a luxury car with a big old motor. Now granted, once we get an exhaust on here, you know, it's going to feel more violent because it's going to be louder. And once we have the tune on as well, you know, my R8, one time I got that to 60 under 3 seconds. It was like a 2.95 or whatever it was, or 2.91 or something like that. I think this car will be able to almost touch that because it's so fast in stock format. This thing is amazing. I've always loved the RS7, but I wasn't really all that, you know, educated on it. I didn't know that this car has air suspension before I got in it. So we're currently in comfort, which kind of raises the suspension. If you go to, you can either raise and lower it manually, but if you go to dynamic, it lowers the car automatically, which is just really cool. It makes it more aerodynamic and better for handling, of course, and all that good stuff. Now, there's a couple things that we're going to talk about in today's video. Now, if you saw the delivery video, you know, we talked about a bunch of mods that we're going to do, like we do every time I buy a new car. You have to do them. Now, these wheels, I also mentioned that you know, they are not the wheels that came with the car. The car came with 21-inch, you know, the bladed wheels. I forget what they're called or whatever. But the only good thing about these wheels are that the color of them are pretty much brake dust gray. So you can't really tell in the same way. But yeah, those will be replaced, of course. Now, in regards to a wrap, I'm extremely conflicted of what to do color-wise for the car. I don't know. I'm just of the opinion that a car like this, I mean, do you put it like a neon yellow wrap on it? Does it suit it? In my opinion, no, it doesn't. Like for a Lambo or for an exotic or something like that, they're already like screaming for attention, so it just suits them better. With this car, you know, I don't feel like it's that way. Now, on the previous C63 that we had, we did like a Nardo-ish gray, although it's not Nardo gray, it's called Omnius gray. To my understanding, you can't get an exact Nardo gray color on a wrap because Audi like owns the paint code or something like that. I mean, I could be wrong about this, but that's what I've heard. It would be really cool to have a Nardo gray wrap on this car, like actual Nardo gray. But then again, it's not that much of a difference because the car is already gray, and we already did like a gray wrap on the C63. So I've narrowed this down to 3 options. So the 3 options are a midnight crimson bloom. Pretty cool color, I would have to say. And depending on the wheels that we put on the car and stuff, I think it could work. Now the one that I'm leaning towards is a matte military green. I don't know, it looks cool. And then the third option is a gloss hypnotic black violet. Long word there, but pretty cool color as well, and it will probably be the one that sticks out the most. But I don't really know what to do, so I want to like involve you guys. So at the time of posting this video, I'm also posting a poll on my Instagram stories where you guys can go in and vote for the wrap that you think would look best on this car out of those 3. So go to my Instagram at AutoVlog and go to my Instagram stories, find the poll, and then vote, please.
Mike, you always film your cars at the same parking lot. It's boring to watch.
Well, here, new parking lot. We switched it up, just like the brand new car. Now, when I decided to buy this car, I went through the Carfax, like you should when you buy a used car. And then I saw what you never want to see on a Carfax, and that is damage reported. And the crappy thing about the Carfax, whether it says damage or accident, is that you usually have no idea what it was. And that was a kind of an issue for me when I was selling cars as well, because, you know, a customer comes in and they want to see the Carfax and then it says accident or something on there. And they're like, well, what was that? And you never really know because the Carfax doesn't specify. Every now and then in a blue moon, you might see like a link to a police report if it was like something really serious, and then you can figure out more maybe of what happened by the report. But usually you have no clue. It just says accident or damage. You don't know how severe it was and what was fixed on the car, like what was damaged, that kind of thing. So when I saw damage on this car, it kind of like got me a little afraid. Now it's a German car with tons of tech. It's used. You know, there's no warranty. So if something breaks on a car like this, it'll be pricey. That's just how it is. And then, you know, you have a damage on it. So I was like, oh crap. So what we started doing was just walking around the whole car and like really inspecting it to see if there was any kind of like weirdness in the paint. You know, we opened the hood, we checked inside and did all kinds of stuff in the door jambs, and we really couldn't find anything. Like the car is in really good condition. So with that, I was kind of like, well, it says damage. It doesn't say accident. So it wasn't in an accident. Damage can be anything. But anyhow, long story short, I ended up buying the car, of course. And the cool thing is with, you know, my channel and some of the following that I have, what ended up happening was that the previous owner of this car is a subscriber to my channel, and he's been following it for a long time. And he watched the delivery video. He DMs me on Instagram. This car is still a screensaver on his phone. He absolutely loved it. He had it for 2 years, and he just thought it was so cool that I ended up buying the car. He gave me a long history of it, or during the time that he had it, that is. And he also let me know about the damage on the car. So it was actually a big relief because it wasn't something horribly bad. What ended up happening was that he got, I think it was right here, or if it was the lens, I can't really remember. By the way, I removed this front plate bracket thingy that was sitting on here, so it looks a little faded and ugly right there. I haven't washed it up. The good thing about PA is that you don't need a front plate. But anyhow, I think it was this lens right here, pretty expensive fix. So he went through insurance to get it fixed. It was some kind of stone chip, and I think this is for the night vision assist. So that was the damage on the car. And I'm just so grateful to him that he reached out and he let me know what it was. Now, another thing that was worrying me about this car is an issue that it's known to have. With many performance cars, you usually have like 1 or 2 issues that they're known for, like a W204 C63, for instance. Pre-facelift, they had head bolt issues. Everyone knows about that if you're into those type of cars. Like an E60 M5, for instance, we all know about the Vanos pump, rod bearings, and all kinds of stuff that that car is known to have an issue with. Now, an Audi RS7 also has a known issue, and this issue is about this big, at least the physical size of it, and that is a tiny little oil screen that Audi thought was great to put way in between, like inside, like almost a block of the engine. It's like super complicated to get to, and these little oil screens are known to fail. Now, the purpose of this little oil screen, according to Audi at least, is to protect the turbos, so like carbon deposit and gunk and buildup and stuff don't get into the turbos. But the problem has been that the little screen actually gets clogged, and when it does, that can lead to turbo failure, and it has for a lot of owners. And new turbos for a car like this is an expensive fix. Just the turbos alone, and then have someone do the labor, because we all know I can't do it myself. So what a lot of people have actually done is remove the oil screen altogether. But now, the previous owner, I didn't know this, but the previous owner let me know that right before he traded the car in, he actually got a recall notice regarding the oil screen. So this, to my understanding, we're going to drive to Audi at Pittsburgh and just confirm that this is actually true. So for me now, as the new owner of the car, can have this issue taken care of. Now, Audi initially stated that this little oil screen thing was supposed to last for a lifetime of the vehicle, but obviously it doesn't, and they've recognized that problem, and now they're recalling it. So we're gonna take the car in eventually and have make sure that there's no problem there. And I don't know exactly what they do, if they replace the screen, remove it, or they have a better screen, or what. So I feel very blessed and lucky and happy that that problem hopefully won't be a problem at all for me. So we're gonna jump in here, go to Audi of Pittsburgh, and confirm. Still though, that's a pathetic tunnel run. Come on, Audi. This thing needs an exhaust like so bad. It's got a lot of power, but it doesn't have a lot of sound. Can we get it crackled? Oh, we got a little one there. Oh, the tiny joys of life. All right, so we're back at Audi of Pittsburgh. I haven't been there since I had the R8. Let's hop in and set up an appointment for the recall on the oil screen. So yeah, this recall is a pretty big deal. My appointment, it's like October 2nd or 3rd today. My appointment is January 23rd. So we're like 4 or 5 months out from me even getting the car in. So that just goes to show you how big of an issue this is and how many cars it actually entails. And the thing is, like we mentioned earlier, it's this little oil screen thing is located in a horrible spot, so it's a huge job. They said they're probably gonna have to have the car for 2 days, so I'm gonna get a loaner in the whole 9 yards. I'm gonna check with one other place. If they can't get me in sooner than January 23rd it is. So I've noticed when you're just driving around town, you don't really want to have it in the sport setting of the transmission, because it gets very jerky because it just wants to hold the gear, and as soon as you let off the gas pedal, it's almost like it has regenerative braking or something. You're like, so I can't believe I'm saying this. In this car, when you're not like doing anything performance based, I'd rather drive it in like comfort. I'd never do that with any other performance car I've ever owned. It's like it's telling you to be comfortable. Unless you want to get on it, because then it just completely changes. I'm just saying, man, this car is me, because I do love the, you know, the subtle luxury softness about it as well. And then when you don't want that, it's a completely different car. And in regards to the 0 to 60 that we did in the beginning of the video, the car actually wants to shift to third gear before it hits 60. So I'm wondering if the second gear was a little, you know, taller or whatever, and it could reach 60 in second gear, if the time would be that much better. I'm sure you're shaving off a little bit, because even though the transmission is fast, quick shifting, I'm sure you're losing a little bit there, since it wants to shift to third before it hits 60. Another thing that I really like, and the BMW had that, most Beamers do, you see the red here in the tachometer. That's basically obviously red line. Now when the engine is cold, that red line goes up to around 5,000 RPM. So basically the car's telling you, not like you wouldn't know that without it telling you, but still, it's like, don't rev above this certain RPM here until the engine gets warm. And I like that with the E60 M5 that I had. Now that was NA, so it would rev a lot higher, but still, it's a cool feature to have when the engine is cold versus warm. All right, so there we have it. We're back home. I think we're gonna end today's video with that. I know there's been a lot of talking on my end, and I hate when the whole video consists of me just babbling non-stop here, but at least we got to cover a lot of things with the RS7 that I found out after just owning it for a few days. I'm very grateful that the previous owner reached out to me and let me know some of the history of the car, what happened to it with the damage, and also in regards to the recall for the stupid oil screen thing. Also remember, go vote in regards to what wrap we're going to put on this car. And then, yeah, we'll just go from there, see which wrap color gets the most votes. And I guess I'll go with that one, whatever you guys pick. We have some mods on the way for this thing already, so just stay tuned for upcoming videos. I hope you guys have enjoyed this one. If you did, you know what to do. Give it a huge thumbs up. If you're stopping by for the first time and you haven't already and you want to, please subscribe. And I'll see you guys in the next one.